Let me ask you a question that might feel a little uncomfortable. When you are getting ready for a dinner party, or even just a coffee date with a friend, and your phone buzzes with a text that says, "So sorry, I can't make it tonight," what is the very first thing you feel? Be honest. Is it disappointment? Or is it a sudden, overwhelming wave of relief? Do your shoulders drop? Does your breathing slow down? Does the world suddenly feel manageable again? If you chose relief, you have probably been told, or you have told yourself, that you are antisocial. You might think you are introverted, cold, or maybe just bad at connecting with people. You look at dog owners, with their high energy and constant engagement, and you wonder why that kind of love feels like work to you. But then, there is the cat. When a cat walks into the room, it does not scream for your attention. It does not jump on you with muddy paws, demanding that you match its excitement level immediately. It simply exists. It might glance at you, then walk over to the window and sit down, back turned. And in that moment, you don't feel ignored. You feel safe. Why? Why does the indifference of a cat feel more loving to you than the enthusiasm of a dog? Here is the truth that nobody tells you. This preference has nothing to do with your personality. It has nothing to do with being a cat person or a dog person. And it certainly doesn't mean you don't like people. It is entirely about your nervous system. You are not avoiding connection. You are avoiding performance. We live in a world that is designed for the dog nervous system, a world that rewards high volume, constant eye contact, immediate responses, and loud displays of affection. If you don't provide that, society labels you as aloof or hard to read. But your brain isn't broken. It is just wired for a different frequency. You are craving what psychologists call co-regulation without demand. In this video, we are going to dissect exactly why your brain interprets human interaction as a threat, and why a cat's presence acts like a wireless charger for your social battery. We are going to look at the 3 types of people who gravitate towards cats. And I promise you, the third type is going to completely change how you see your own relationships. You aren't cold. You are just protecting a very specific, very rare kind of energy. To understand why a simple purr feels like medicine, we need to look at who you actually are. We can categorize this behavior into 3 distinct types of people. Most of us start at type 1, but the real psychology lies deep within type 2. Type 1 is what the world calls the passive observer. This is the surface level label. If you belong to this category, your friends probably describe you as low maintenance or perhaps hard to get close to. At a party, you are the person standing near the bookshelf, petting the host's cat, effectively using the animal as a social shield. The world looks at type 1 and sees a lack of energy. They see someone who doesn't want to participate. They assume you chose the cat because the cat is easy or lazy. It is a common stereotype. Lonely people love cats because they can't handle real relationships. But that is a lazy observation. It completely misses the internal reality. You aren't low energy. In fact, your internal world is likely running a marathon. This brings us to type 2, the high-frequency receiver. This is the biological mechanism driving your behavior. You don't prefer cats because you dislike interaction. You prefer cats because your brain is processing human interaction at a volume level that is 10 times higher than average. In psychology, we link this to sensory processing sensitivity. Think about what happens when a dog runs up to greet you. The dog is loud. It jumps. It pants. It demands eye contact. It requires you to physically brace yourself. Use your hands. Change your voice, pitch to that high, excited tone, and mirror its excitement. If you don't mirror that energy, the dog looks sad, and you feel guilty. That is a transaction. It is an energy tax. Now, think about a human conversation. It is infinitely more expensive. When you talk to a person, your brain is working overtime. You are decoding microexpressions. You are analyzing tone of voice. You are filtering background noise. You are predicting what they will say next. And you are constantly monitoring your own face to make sure you look interested. This is called masking. For the type 2 nervous system, this constant state of anticipation floods the body with cortisol. You are not just hanging out. You are performing. You are constantly managing the emotional climate of the room to ensure everyone else feels comfortable. This is why you feel exhausted after a fun coffee date. It's not that you didn't have fun. It's that you were running a marathon of emotional calculation the entire time. Now, contrast that with the cat. The cat enters the room. It does not look at you. It does not ask, "How was your day?" It does not require you to smile. It jumps onto the sofa, sits 3 feet away, and starts cleaning its paw. For the type 2 brain, this lack of attention is the greatest gift imaginable. The cat is offering parallel existence. It is saying, "I am safe. You are safe. I do not need anything from you right now." When the demand for performance drops, your nervous system finally gets the signal to switch from fight or flight to rest and digest. You aren't just petting an animal. You are deactivating your own hypervigilance. The cat becomes an external anchor that tells your brain, if the predator in the room is sleeping, we don't need to be on guard. You aren't antisocial. You are just hyper-empathic. You feel so much from people that you need a companion who demands absolutely nothing just to balance the scales. But there is a deeper layer. There is a type 3. This is the person who doesn't just tolerate the cat's aloofness, but actively respects it as a superior form of love. This is where the psychology gets truly fascinating. This brings us to the final and most profound category. Type 3. The consent architect. If Type 2 is about surviving overstimulation, Type 3 is about mastering the art of boundaries. Here is the twist that reframes everything you thought you knew about cat people. The world often criticizes cats for being selfish or manipulative. We say they only come to us when they want food. We call them cold because they walk away when we try to hug them. But Type 3 understands something deeper. The cat is not being a jerk. The cat is simply the only creature in your house that enforces clear, non-negotiable boundaries. And for you, someone who likely spends their entire day people-pleasing, fixing other people's problems, and saying yes when you want to say no, the cat is a role model. Think about the fundamental difference in how affection is traded. A dog's love is often described as unconditional, but biologically, it can feel like a dependency. A dog looks at you as a god. It needs you to validate its existence. If you leave the room, it panics. For someone who already feels the weight of the world on their shoulders, being treated like a god is exhausted. It is just another job. A cat, however, treats you like a peer. When a cat sits on your lap, it is not because it needs reassurance. It is not because it's anxious. It is because, out of all the options in the room, the warm radiator, the soft pillow, the sunbeam on the floor, it decided that you were the best place to be. That is active choice. For the Type 3 individual, this distinction is everything. You don't want a fan. You want a friend. You don't want love that is desperate. You want love that is deliberate. There is a profound psychological concept here called the slow blink. When a cat looks at you and slowly closes its eyes, it is performing a vulnerable act. It is voluntarily cutting off its vision in the presence of a predator you. It is saying, "I trust you enough to take my eyes off you." When you return that slow blink, you are engaging in a silent conversation of mutual respect. No words are spoken. No performance is given. Just a quiet agreement of safety. This is why you feel safer with cats than people. Human relationships are often messy with unspoken expectations. Humans say, "I'm fine" when they are angry. Humans demand hugs when you don't want to be touched. Humans take your silence as an insult. A cat teaches you that no is a complete sentence. If you try to force affection on a cat, it leaves. It doesn't apologize. It just removes itself from the situation. And when you respect that boundary, when you wait for the cat to come to you, you are rewarded with the purr. That purr is the sound of consent. You love cats because they heal the part of you that feels guilty for having boundaries. They show you, every single day, that it is possible to be independent, to say no, to need your own space, and still be worthy of love. You aren't cold like the cat. You are just discerning. You are protecting your peace. And biologically, this peace is measurable. Let's anchor this in the science of your brain, so you can stop apologizing for how you are wired. We often talk about the brain having a social battery, but that metaphor is incomplete. Think of your brain instead as a high-fidelity receiver. Most people are like standard FM radios. They pick up the music, they enjoy the noise, and they are fine with a little static. But you are a sensitive, long-range antenna. You pick up the static, the interference, the background hum, and the signal all at once. When you interact with high-energy people or needy pets, it's like plugging that sensitive antenna directly into a high-voltage outlet. It works, but it overheats your circuits. You burn out because the input is too noisy. This brings us to our final metaphor, the wireless charger. A cat is not a plug. It is a charging pad. When a cat sits near you, not on you, but just near you, it is emitting a low-frequency vibration. Studies show that a cat's purr vibrates between 20 and 140 Hz. This frequency is medically proven to lower blood pressure, reduce stress hormones like cortisol, and even promote the healing of bone and tissue. This is bioacoustic therapy. You aren't just relaxing. You are physically synchronizing your nervous system with a creature that has mastered the art of energy conservation. You are charging wirelessly. You are refilling your cup without having to pour anything out for anyone else. So, let's reframe the narrative one last time. If you prefer a quiet Friday night with your cat over a loud party, it is not because you are broken. It is not because you are antisocial. It is because you are wise enough to know what your machine needs to run. You have recognized that in a world screaming for your attention, the most valuable thing you can find is a companion who asks for nothing but your presence. You have chosen quality over quantity. You have chosen consent over obligation. So the next time someone calls you a crazy cat person or gives you a weird look because you are excited to go home to your pet, just smile. You know the secret. You aren't going home to hide. You are going home to recharge. And if your cat is looking at you right now, maybe give them a slow blink for me. They will know what it means. Which type are you? Are you the surface observer, the high-frequency receiver, or have you fully embraced your inner consent architect? Let me know in the comments below. Stay wise, and I'll see you in the next one.